Project, the speedrunning gaming variety show that encourages anyone and everyone in the speedrun and competitive gaming communities to showcase their passions in games. My name is Amber Cyprin. I will be your host tonight, and if you've got a passion project of your own, go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to submit it to the show, whether that's grinding speedruns, learning and routing new categories, racing through randomizers and bingos, or competing at high level in games, or breathing new life into a game in unconventional ways. Passion Project is the best place on Twitch to show the world what you love most in speedrunning and gaming. Before we get started with the showcases that we have planned for tonight, I do just want to let you know that if you have missed out on any of our shows or events, you should be sure to check out the VODs over on youtube.com/gamesdonequick, and that includes all of the SGDQ VODs from this past SGDQ. And also, if you want to, you can join the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix role, where you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff and showrunners, and more. Use !Discord in Twitch chat for more information. So, tonight on Passion Project, we're diving back into our inspired indie games theme for Season 2, where we're putting a spotlight on the indie games out there that were inspired by fan-favorite franchises. We're featuring both of Bitten Studios' excellent games, starting things off with Snowball SMB running 2020's Lenna's Inception for some Zelda-inspired goodness, and Alice Rigisu will be on later tonight showing off the recently updated Cassette Beasts for all my Pokemon and creature collecting fanatics out there. Snowball, thank you so much for being here tonight. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good myself. Hello everyone, my name is Snowball, or Snowball SMB, or Snowy, it really doesn't matter. And this is going to be Lenna's Inception Perfect Ending Blind Seeded. Lenna's Inception, as Amber mentioned, is a game that is heavily inspired by the old 2D, sort of like classic Zeldas, like Zelda 1, or the Oracle games, those sorts. But Lenna's Inception also has a very heavy randomizer element to it. A large portion of the game will be randomized every single time. And since this is a blind seeded run, I know absolutely nothing about the seed going into this, so we're all gonna be lost together.
My favorite type of lost to be.
Yeah. Perfect ending, I will be having to do all of the side quests as well as the dungeons. And I think with that, I can save the rest of the explanations for when we get into it. So, I prepared, well, I didn't really prepare, I just decided on what I was going to type in the World Seed thing. I thought it'd be fitting if I did the World Seed Passion for tonight, so I am going to give a quick countdown, and then we will be off. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good luck, have fun, and may the generation be kind.
Alright, so first thing I can say is that is a pretty solid boss order. Not the greatest, but far, far from the worst. You might be wondering how I know the boss order already. And that is a little bit spoilery, but the children that are seated in Lenna's school represent each of the bosses. So I can look at the order that the children are seated and figure out from that which boss is where. The first boss and the 8th boss will always be the same, as will, I don't know why I opened the map, I already did that, as well as the items in their dungeons will not be randomized either, because the item that you get in a dungeon is tied to which boss is in that dungeon. So this first dungeon is very straightforward. We are going to go teach Lance the hero kid how to use that nifty little sword. This is a really long dungeon that the elder left for him. Unfortunately, the elder died under mysterious circumstances. But, you know, he left that sword for Lance because Lance is the hero, and it's dangerous to go alone. So this is the absolute worst Dungeon 1 layout and also dungeon type combo you can get. Forest dungeons are absolutely awful. Fortunately, only one forest dungeon can appear per seed if there is one. This is a pretty good item room. And honestly, if we had to have a forest, I'm glad that it was one of dungeons, realistically speaking, 1 or 2. It's there's a reason why I don't want it in 4 onward that I will get into later in the run. And also, the Dungeon 3 layouts are not very good for Forest. But you'll notice that I got the Power of Fortitude, Sword, and Lance's Phone. But I did not go to fight the boss. I left. And that is because side quests and getting items through those side quests that we need for the boss fights in Perfect Ending. This is Paige. She's the librarian. Yes, the librarian's name is Paige. This is... Wait, I need to go to Andres. Ooh. How am I going to get to Andres?
I appreciate the fact that the region you're in right now is West Passion.
Yeah, we'll be going to East Passion after the first 4 dungeons. Alright, Grove Tunic, that's absolutely useless. So, that was Andres the Bear. He's the shopkeeper. He's also the guy who decides if a run lives or dies. Wait, this is... Wait, that's level 2? Oh. Wait. Game. I think the game wants me to go up and around. Because that is Dungeon 2. But, like, unless I somehow missed something? Wait. I'm genuinely confused. Hang on. Okay, I didn't miss something there. I didn't miss something here. I'm actually not sure how I'm supposed to get to Dungeon 2. You're joking, game. You want me to go run a freaking marathon to get to a dungeon that's literally 1 tile next to one in the town? Should have been paying attention to the grass that was on the screen with Andres, because you need the sword to cut the grass. And I really hope I'm guessing right now. The path to whatever the next dungeon is will be blocked off by an object that you need a previous dungeon item to like get past. So in the case of the sword being the Dungeon 1 item, it's gotta be grass. I am so just baffled by that overworld layout. Okay.
Yeah, the game was teasing you there. It's like, here, it can be right here, but it's on a ledge. Enjoy.
Yeah, so, okay, this is not the greatest setup because these skeletons are on fire, and sometimes when you melt ice or burn twigs or anything like that, more enemies will spawn, and you need all enemies defeated in an item room for the item to drop. So we've got the lighter now. I don't know if I want to know what the game wants me to do here. But I'm gonna go this way because there's ice here, so the lighter can melt the ice. I am also on half a heart, which is not that much HP. I'm gonna pick that heart up for safety because I'm getting absolutely trolled. I'm going to check these tombstones for books, and also tunics. I fell down a ladder. That's fine because that gives me a warp point with the bicycle to a tile with that gentleman over there. I don't really think you can call him a gentleman because he's kind of a con man, and his name is Creepy Jack. But he is important for a side quest. He is part of what I call West Side Crew. I just call all of the characters that appear on the west side of the island for side quests, West Side Crew. They're always trolling me. Usually the Office and Paige are the worst offenders, but sometimes the 3 bears like to get temperamental as well. But this was a really good Dungeon 3 because I can just push those guys in the water. That was still a scary item room, just because with item rooms, you will get a bunch of alternate colored monsters in them. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. And the alternate colored monsters will have double HP and, depending on their color, a different sort of buff. Green monsters are probably the worst for going fast because they will every like few seconds heal a heart of damage. But the brown enemies, well, every couple seconds they just explode. And explosions deal lots of damage to Lenna. So we don't want to get hit by explosions. Alright, we got some giant spiders. Gonna just push them down the hole. And grab the spring. Now, we fell into this dungeon, so we can't just warp out immediately. Thanks, Chairman of the Guild. I'm gonna do a cool jump across because I have the lighter and the spring. You can do that. Now we're going to get a phone call from the Prince. He's going to give us the Power of Compassion. I'm going to just menu real quick to get that off of my 3-item, I guess, toolbar. It probably has a name that I'm just completely blanking on, but if I accidentally press the button, which is very easy to do, that the Power of Compassion is set to, then a text box will pop up, and that is slow, and that is not the right way. So I am going to try to go down, and if it's not down this way, then I'll be warping back to D3. Looking at the in-game timer, I'm really happy with where I'm at given the D2 fiasco. There's a Three Bears Cottage, so that's good to have. Also, I will be going into any of the building-based side quests, just to grab a warp point for later, so that way I don't have to wander all the way back around. I am going to check as many of these gravestones as I can for books, because I got really trolled by Paige yesterday, causing probably the worst seed of side quests I have ever seen. So yeah, she's not going to get away with that again. You can also get tunics, and alright, we are in business. So,
oh, fast.
I mentioned earlier, Andres the Bear is kind of the guy who decides if a run lives or run dies, and that is because he is the earliest point that you can get a tunic, and he sells them pretty cheap. There are two types of tunics that if you get, you pretty much are in go mode immediately. Those being strength and speed. Speed, I think it's doubles your speed, and strength doubles, well, your strength. I still will be checking a couple of like guaranteed tunic spots to see if I can't grab a strength tunic for a really annoying side quest later. But I mentioned at the start of the run, also real quick, before I forget, that guy on the bridge, his name was Dalvin. Remember him.
Dalvin.
He's important for later in the run. Oh, we've got so these things I think are called pyromelians. The community calls them lizroads.
I like that.
It's actually
Having seen many an annoying wizrobe, I agree.
Yeah. It's actually pretty interesting that they're officially called, I believe, pyromelians, because there is a monster in Cassette Beasts, Bitten Studios' other game that is awesome, called Pyromelian. I think. I really hope I'm not remembering that one. East Side is pulling tricks on me again because lots of targets that can only be broken by the bow. Guess what I don't have in my possession right now? But we found...
So how do you get the bow?
The bow will be in, I'm assuming, the next dungeon. So there's the traveling merchant. Earlier I found... Alright, cool, fire tunic. Thanks, dude. Earlier I found that purple roofed house that is Potter and Tunley. They are important for a side quest. They said that their sister went off to explore... Oh, hey, dude. A dungeon, or not a dungeon, that's spoilers, was making a cool game with some shady dude. So we have to go find the shady dude. I'm getting so many things just thrown at me this seed. It's hard to keep track of what I've talked about and what I haven't. At the start of the run, I mentioned that most things in this game are randomized. There are a few things that are not. The traveling merchant always will give you a tunic. And the first item that he sells will always be a runny blue potion or a water potion. And we need that for a west side quest. Andre's selling a tunic for only 20 coins is another thing that is guaranteed. There is a tunic that is guaranteed in the palace, which is after Dungeon 8. The game is really trolling me with all of the Liz rogues right now. If I had a strength tunic, I would be able to get rid of any Liz rogue before it has a chance to teleport. This is a really big dungeon. Alright, cool, item room. So, I also never mentioned that's 8 fridge that's bouncing around right now. 8 fridge is a problem. So there's the bow. I'm on critical health, so I'm going to just warp to the entrance to get out and also to give myself a heart. Now I can get rid of all of those pesky bow targets.
So from what I've gathered for the start of the run, you are mostly trying to visit every dungeon and get major items that unlock other areas and help open up your mobility, right?
Yeah, so every traveling merchant, okay, right next to the 8. I needed to pay attention to where he was going to be telling me he'd be next because I only need to find him one more time. So every dungeon item that you get is required in order to access the next dungeon. So like I needed the bow from Dungeon 6 to get to Dungeon 7. Right. I needed the strength bracelet from 5 to get to 6, so on and so forth. But I am purposefully not fighting the bosses as I need other items for those boss fights since it is a perfect ending run. If it was a sacrifice ending run or a catastrophe ending, actually, you would still exit the dungeon and come back after you have the item from Dungeon 8, as the item from Dungeon 8 is pretty cool and gives you a frankly absurd amount of mobility. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing in this puzzle because I'm really bad at these and they get complex when you get this late into the game. I messed this up? Question mark? No, I didn't.
Yeah, no, you seem good.
Dungeon 7 and Dungeon 8 are always the most annoying because they're always the longest. They are I think the only dungeon that can have, or that has 2 keys before, or that can have 2 keys before the item room, a blue key and a blue key and a green key, and then the red key would be the key that we don't actually use to get into the boss. But okay, red enemies are kind of scary if there are a lot of them because they will deal double damage. I'm going to see if I can grab any more arrows, not that many, because now I have bombs, so I can use bomb arrows, and those are very strong. Okay, let's, I guess, damage boost. We're damage boosting now. Also, something I completely forgot to mention about side quests all the way back when we were at the library. So, Paige programmed into our phone the locations of the other dungeons on the west side of the map. She also said that she needs us to find some missing overdue library books for her. So we need a grand total of 12 out of the 16 of those in order to complete Paige's ultimate side quest. And 4 of them are always in the same spot. And one of them is coming up right here. I'm going to walk out the door and then back into the lab so that way I have the warp point. Unfortunately, you have to do that to get said warp point. I found that out the hard way. I just crashed into his table. That's fine. He has an overdue library book on his bookcase, which I find to be really funny because Professor Maxwell and Paige are, I think, canonically pen pals or something like that. Okay, nothing got unequipped. That's good. So he used his earthquake machine to kindly drop us into Dungeon 8 and told us that he got trapped in his basement when his lab assistant Delvin turned on him. So yeah, that's a problem we'll probably future Lenna will probably have to deal with. This is going to be a very pesky Dungeon 8, I can already tell, because I've okay, good info to have, because, well, I'm already finding green key doors, and that's not good. But there is an extra row of rooms on the bottom, and I think now is a really good time. I'm right back where I started this dungeon. I think now is a good time to say that there is one item in this game. I'm gonna just let that guy come out of the door because he's annoying me. There's one item in this game that is literally stronger than everything by a lot. And that is an item that you can only get in a secret room from one of either dungeons 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. So whenever there is an extra row or column of rooms on the map, that's actually really good info to have. Whenever there's an extra row or column of rooms on the map, then you know the item room is somewhere in that row. Also, gray crabs are really annoying if you don't have any bombs like me, or if you don't have another item that I need to get called the axe. I don't know why I said it's called an axe, because it just literally is an axe. You get it from a woodcutter who wants you to find a secret, even though 9 times out of 10 he's standing on a screen with a very obvious secret on it. So yeah, even though he says he's been looking for one for like years, he's not very good at looking for secrets, I guess. But the axe is a way to always hit those gray crabs, and it also deals with, I think, 1.5 times damage? Question mark? So the axe is going to be very handy for a different later side quest, aside from the fact that you literally need it for the side quest with the guy who, gives it to you. Where is this item?
Chat has noticed that there are tiles and enemies that look like when they come on the screen visually corrupted, and someone else in chat also said, yeah, this dungeon seems to be in good shape. And as you've gotten further and further in, yeah, no, it's certainly holding it together. It's doing its best.
Yeah, this dungeon has seen better days. Okay, so the item has to be down here. Yep. So these dungeon room items are, going to be marshmallows, which is great because they're always huge, on fire, and exploding. So I'm going to real quick do a funny thing and go down on the bottom row and find that item room. That is not the item we need. So I now have the glasses. Everything you're seeing me do with said glasses, like that cool little screen wrapping, yeah, that's intended gameplay. Not only is it intended, it's required. It is required to beat the game. It is required casually to get through Dungeon 8. Well, actually, no. Both in the speedrun, you just use a different technique of getting through the dungeon. And also, you need it to get through this palace, which is one of the other things that is always the same. The layout of the layout of the palace is always the same. How many books do I have? 7? Yeah, I'll play it safe and just check those, just in case they have books. Finding a money bag is perfectly fine, though, because we need 1,000 coins for a side quest at the bank. Fortunately, we can get any cash that we are missing for said side quest by using the glasses screen wrapping to rob the bank vault.
Screen wrapping is a mix of stuff that I've seen in Zelda 1 and Link's Awakening Game Boy speedruns, especially with all the Glitch City stuff happening as well. In fact, whenever you go from one side of the screen to the other through using the screen wrapping, it reminds me a lot of actual screen wrapping in Zelda 1, which is a pretty common technique.
Yeah, they definitely took a lot of inspiration from those original era Zelda games, and I honestly love it because Link's Awakening is actually my favorite Zelda game.
It's my favorite 2D one, personally. I loved Link's Awakening. It's a good time.
Yeah, I might also have a bit of bias because, wow, that's a lot of side quest people in quick succession. I might also have a little bit of bias because it was the first Zelda game I played, and it was a game that I started playing fairly early on in my life. Okay, that guy's gonna just walk into the sea. Cool. I don't really know what his game plan was there, but sometimes skeleton jousters are not the sharpest tools going, even though they wield some pretty sharp tools. And I think, unless I'm forgetting anything, that's everyone on East Side. Found the naked bear, found the zoologist, and found the strange cave very quickly. So, and then found that guy. Real quick, trying to decide what I want to go about doing next. I have 7 books.
So the next step would be, what, side quest clearing at this point?
Yeah, also, I just messed up. I should check that other tile in the city to see if there's a book there, because I need, I believe, 2 more books and then I am good to go. Okay. Just walked into the sea, just like that skeleton jouster that I was roasting like a minute ago. That's great. I am going to get rid of this bird. I'm on critical health. Cool. I am planning this with utmost precision. Let's just throw that guy. Cool. Okay, so now that I have a grand total of 8 books, I can run back to the library and talk to Paige. So she's going to be like, wow, you found a lot of books. How about I come with you? So now she's following us around. I completely forgot to actually call Tressa, who is Potter and Tunley's sister. She says that she was at the library. You talk to Paige. She says that Tressa was looking at books about the bank, so she, might be at the bank. Also, there's one of those overdue library books that went missing in Paige's bedroom for some reason. She's apparently not great at keeping track of her own books. But I find it really funny that the only way to get in there, actually, is to screen wrap in. I am looking for a book, and I am looking for one individual, because I have the authors.
I can imagine the NPCs that follow you, or like Paige, for example, here. As soon as you start using the glasses to go out of bounds, it's like, whoa, what's happening? Unless it's their, everyday occurrence, then, forget what I said, but...
the funniest
Paige sure
thing...
didn't seem to mind.
The funniest thing is screen wrapping is, like, the most efficient method of moving around, and also... the only way to get past, like, I'm gonna check this tile just to be safe. And the only way to, like, swiftly get around these steep ledges unless there's like one of those staircases or ladders. Paige doesn't care. She will just do an entire jump over the ledge if you screen wrap around. And I'm just like, why can't I do that?
I'd like to do that. Why do I need these glasses to do that?
And funny enough, once you have 8 books, after a little while, Paige will call you on the phone. Oh, hey, thirsty person. She will still call you if she's walking around with you, which I think is really funny. But we gave the thirsty person that water potion that I got from the traveling merchant like 20 minutes ago, at least. Actually, not 20 minutes ago. Creepy Jack, that's who's next. I am losing track of stuff. Wait, where was he? Oh, there he is. I was like, I know I found this man. I don't even remember what I was talking about. It probably wasn't that important. But, oh, Paige calling you even though she's walking around.
Oh, you were talking about how you gave the water potion that you got from the traveling merchant to the thirsty kid.
So yeah, water potion to thirsty person gave us a paper clip that we then gave to the office worker so that way she could be organized. She just used them to make a pair of glasses, and she gave us a pen, which we gave to Creepy Jack to forge us a property deed. Now we are using the only instance of a glitch in this run. We screen wrap and then move off this screen twice, and that will just summon 3 Goldilockses. Usually this is a hide and seek game, and you have to play hide and seek with her for 3 whole screens, and it's really obnoxious. But if you screen wrap and do that, then the game only will track how many times a Goldilocks has left a screen, not which screen she's leaving. So having 3 Goldilockses on the screen exit all, pretty much at the same time will just instantly win us the hide and seek game, and we don't have to sit through all of that. I have 339, so I need to take 7 bills. I'm sure that the bank won't miss these. So we got a police report for catching Goldilocks, which we need for one of the dungeons. There's a book on that bookcase. There's always that book. Now we're going to go upstairs, and we are going to deposit a lot of money, and then we are going to withdraw a lot of money. Going to deposit 1,000 coins, withdraw 999, and then try to withdraw that last one. And he's going to be like, you can't withdraw more than 999 from your account. So here's like I don't remember the bank document terminology, and I honestly don't care to try to remember what it is right now. I could just look at the item. I'm not going to do that. I should not have moved off that screen because I was trying to wrap, but that's fine. Now I'm pretty much just looking for 1 book. Which I honestly probably would have a better time finding if I just went back to the east side and started going around doing those side quests. I also need to go to Andres again. Just remembered. Book. How do I get that book? There we go. That's going to put me at 11. Running to Andres to buy a few things, one of which is the 4th book that is always in the same place. He always sells one of the overdue library books, which seems kind of wrong. But, who knows. And I will buy a bunch of these runny yellow potions because the first potion Andres sells will always be a healing potion. And you kind of need those. But now I am going to be going back to the east side to do a bunch of side quests. We're going to go back to talk to the traveling merchant, give him the briefcase that we got from that shady skeleton businessman. So that way the traveling merchant can carry all of his wares around, and in return he is going to give us his shirt. which we need to go and give to the naked bear, because he doesn't like the... Oh, I can't wrap that way because I broke the secret. So there's a special tile there that you get a special item. I don't really know what those items do, I'm going to be completely honest. Because I never really got them even in my casual playthrough. 5, alright, good. So now we are going to be... yeah, I can do that. Going to be going to the strange cave for a little fun game. 9 waves of enemies. However, the second wave will have these marshmallows. We need to gather 10 marshmallows, so we're going to just leave, go back in, leave, go back in, and then play it out. Because we found the 12 books for Paige, and she's like, you know what, we should have a celebration. Let's go get 10 marshmallows. So we're going to just grab these, and then an exclamation point will appear above her head letting you know that, yep, we got all 10 that we need. So now it's just playing out the strange cave for the final, well, not the final item, I guess, because Tressa is going to be in the first dungeon that we go into because she went to a dungeon to explore. And she is going to give us the final item of the side quests that we need. But now that the crabs are starting to rain down, this is when the axe starts coming into play, because it is harder to hit enemies with the axe, but it deals 1.5 times damage. So things like crabs, spiders that have 3 or more HP, attacking with the axe is faster. It's just a little bit harder. If I had a strength tunic, all of these enemies would be dying to 1 axe hit instead of 2, which is a frankly ridiculous time save.
Oh, I can imagine. Like, that's a lot of time save.
The speed
it's also
tunic,
a lot safer.
Yeah, the speed tunic is the only tunic that, realistically speaking, in this can keep up with the strength tunic time-wise. It's much harder to get a strange cave clear as fast as the strength tunic with speed, just because that extra damage is so absurdly powerful. But listening to where I'm at on the music, that this hasn't been the best strange cave ever, but it is still a really strong one that, realistically speaking, would only be possible with either speed or strength. So now we've got the final wave. It's Liz robes. Fortunately, they can set each other on fire, which does also speed things up. And they die to 2 hits from the axe. I am going to just throw myself a healing potion now out of safety, because if I catch fire, things could get very bad very quick. Sounds like the music is going to just barely loop, which, if you can beat all of the enemies before the music loops, then you're sitting pretty good. But now that that's over, and there are no dangerous hazards in the room or anything, we can do the celebration with Paige. Sadly, we are going to skip this cutscene because this cutscene is freaking adorable. And she's going to give us a little heart-shaped locket, which is awesome. That is, of course, one of the items that we need for the boss rush. Let's just get Dungeon 8 out of the way, I guess, first, since I've already checked the secret room there. So Tressa's going to give us the thing, ask if we want to go back to the status effect shop. We're going to say no, and we are going to screen wrap into this room so we don't have to look for the key. And now I'm going to say real quick, a slight flashing lights and ice strain warning. The bosses flash a little bit when they are hit, and also I'm just going to have the glasses active for the entirety of all these fights, which could cause some eye strain, because having the glasses activated actually speeds up most of the bosses. So this is Archangel Hadasaya, Vampire Magician. She's the only boss that is guaranteed to have a 2-phase fight, and she's the only boss that takes 2 hits on the first phase instead of 3 or whatever Hydraniel's got going on. This is one of the longest fights in the game. one of the final bosses is, at least one of the final bosses is longer. Fortunately, we've got a special trick to skip literally that whole fight. It's not really a trick. I'll be completely honest, it's really not a trick. That will be made clear what it is at some point on this backtrack. But I mentioned earlier that the secret rooms and dungeons only appear in dungeons 4 onward, and that is the same for 2-phase boss fights. So that is why specific boss orders at the start, when you see the order that the kids are sitting in, it can give you a really good indicator of like how brutal the boss rush will be for time save or time loss. But since Hadasai is always a 2-phase fight, we don't have to really worry about that. So there, instead of getting the final hit on Hadasai, we used Prince Daniel's Power of Compassion, and one of the items that we got from a side quest to spare Hadasai. And that is the key to perfect ending. You have to spare the 8 dungeon bosses in order to get the perfect ending. So now I'm just sort of warping around the outside of the map looking for that secret room. It's going to either be... I have to count here. Wait, I think there might be an extra column. Yeah, there's an extra... There has... Right? Yeah, there's an extra column here. Alright, that's a buoy. We don't need that. I don't really get why the buoy is here, because it lets you swim, but so does the fish leather shorts. So it's
does it
sort
let
of
you
like,
swim faster?
I don't think so. Okay. I'm stuck in the wall. How? Okay. So I noticed that there is a new warp point on my map, which means that I've wrapped into the room directly to the south of the dungeon boss. So I'll equip the bow. This is one of the scariest 2-phase fights, if not the scariest 2-phase fight. It's also, I believe, the second longest 2-phase fight, because I'm not actually sure if Hadasaya is second or third longest, or fourth, actually. There's another really long one. But this is Krabatin. He's an interesting guy. There's a cutscene that we skip where we see the sort of master of the archangels teaching Ben how to fight, and is sort of saying, you know, okay, if you're weak to bows, then what should you do when the hero comes at you with the bow? And Krabatin's like, I should open my claws and mouth, yay, because arrows yummy. That's not the case. Arrows are not yummy. Also, I should probably like try and get in the zone for this fight, because Krabatin loves to juke you in the second phase. He will just sidestep right before opening his claw that is now a weird floating skull, and you can't get to him. Given the fact that I have a speed tunic, that wouldn't really be that big of an issue. Also, when Krabatin charges in his second phase, his hitbox is absolutely massive. So you do need to sort of be on your toes a little bit in that fight. Unfortunately, we will not be hearing the absolutely sick guitar from... Oops, I hit the wrong button. That is in... there we go. The second phase boss music. Because Krabatin ends just before that guitar kicks in an ideal fight. And the other boss that we like get to that point of the music is not going to be a 2-phase fight. Also, I am going to do something unusual, or something that you probably would not expect. And that is, I'm going to unequip the speed tunic. And that is because using a speed tunic in the first phase of this fight is actually harder. Because there is a little stripe on the middle of Lenna's head. And if you line that stripe up with the center of Tentaluchis, then this attack right here, where he charges at us and then just leaves, that will happen instead of him bouncing around the room for 15 seconds. Also, it's not guaranteed that he will just do a charge and then leave. Sometimes he will just decide, you know what, this run is not going to happen. You are not having a good day. Sorry, here's 15 or 30 seconds of time loss. You can't do anything up to stop me. But now he's a UFO. He's shooting balls of energy at us. We just have to run around until he tries to grab us with his tractor beam. And then we have to run out of the tractor beam and use the power of compassion. That is another one of the longest boss fights. And I just
also,
realized
someone in chat confirmed buoy doubles your air meter in water.
Okay.
Which is absolutely not useful.
Yeah, that would only be useful in like one fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only on the second phase of said fight, and it is a one phase fight on this seed, so it's really not useful. So I am in a little bit of a weird situation with the whole item secret whole shenanigan thing. Because I'm going to be wrapping into the boss room. Yep. It's only dungeons 4 and 5 now to check. And I honestly don't remember which layout dungeon 4 was. I think it might have been the worst one.
I really like Rock Noggin as a name.
So I don't know what I'm doing this time around. This was weird. So I wanted to do Hydranial immediately after Tentaluchis because I would already have the bombs equipped. And while Hydranial, you need the strength bracelet item thingy in order to defeat. Bombs actually make this fight a little bit faster because you can equip a bomb and then drop it. And that will count as an item that was just sitting there that you picked up. So you can just throw that at Hydranial and start tagging on damage a little bit sooner. It's Dungeon 4. You gotta be kidding me, game. Okay. That's not ideal, but this is not a good layout. There are 3 layouts Dungeon 4 can have, and only one of them is good for finding the item room, because that one is guaranteed to have an extra row or column every single time, and this one just kind of sucks. This is the layout Diamond. So, as the name implies, this dungeon is in the shape of a diamond.
We have the wonderful TGH in chat that says this game looks so damn cool, and while you look for the item, do you mind if I share a story about this game getting into a marathon that I was games committee for?
Yeah, go ahead. There it is. Okay. There it is.
Nice. The gun!
Yep, the old revolver.
Alright, so for folks who don't know, I do work with I'm the team lead of another speedrun event, called Fast Pace Events, and we had a marathon that Snowball had submitted this to, and my head of games committee and scheduling, Final Flame, was the one who was like, I'll judge Lenna's Inception because we assign games out based on people's interests just so we can get, decent, reviews of these games in our longer process. And Flame was watching the submission video and was like, I'm not entirely sure what the hype here is, and then went to sleep, woke up, and was like, wow, I kind of want to watch that video again. So watched it again, and as time went on, just could not stop thinking about this game. So his rating of the game went from this is okay to this is actually interesting we have to have this in the marathon. Which was really, really funny.
Yeah, I was also on games committee for that event, so I had the honor of Flame telling me about that story in the games committee meeting for putting for deciding which games we were going to take, and it was really funny. Also, I got completely out of position because Cat Seal. She's dropping bats on my head while I have to run around and put in a very specific code that probably a lot of people who play video games will recognize on the joystick. Also, keeping Cat Seal on that side of the room will make it so the little memory ball thing that I pick up after each boss fight will drop in the center of the room. Also, you might have noticed that I am... Every time I'm warping through the entrance to leave a dungeon, I am briefly making Lenna face down. And that is simply because whenever you fast travel to a tile, Lenna will slightly drift in the direction that you're facing. So it's just more efficient to have that little bit of movement downward instead of drifting off to the side and having to take an extra fraction of a second to get to the door. It's honestly such a tiny thing, but I do feel like you can save a fair handful of seconds over the course of the run if you keep doing that. Now we've got Sand Dolphin. This is the water fight. We're sitting in the water. This is quite a fight if you have two-phase, because you can only use the sword when you're on land. And Sand Dolphin doesn't like really giving you many opportunities. So it's honestly kind of like a tame version of some of those Toho bullet heck games. And when I say a tame version of those, I mean it's very tame in comparison to those.
Oh, yeah.
But it is still enough that it can get a tad bit stressful at times. Who likes Christmas?
I like Christmas.
Well, here's Santa Queel, the giver of unwanted gifts. He's gonna throw some exploding presents and say ho 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 and then get set on fire. I usually prefer to see Santa Queel in Dungeon 4 because the lighter is, in my opinion, the item more than any other that you want to get nice and early, like as early as possible. Mm-hmm. But he also has the shortest two-phase fight of any of the bosses. His two-phase fight is so short that as soon as it starts, you can spare him. If he takes one speck of damage, that's it. He's done. So,
just threw him an IOU, like, yep, here, have it.
Yeah. This is not the most efficient. I could have just left that room. The thing wasn't blocked off by a door, it was blocked off by bushes. I think this is the last boss. Huh?
This was Dungeon 1. This boss looks a lot like the Praise the Sun, the origin of the Praise the Sun meme.
Well, yeah, kind of. Gonna throw the sun at me and get spared.
Get spared, nerd.
Exactly. Okay, so I actually was able to keep track. I'm happy about that. That was indeed the final fight we needed to do before heading back to the palace. Also, something spoilery that I completely forgot to mention back at the end of Dungeon 8, because after you're done with Dungeon 8, you find this out, that Lenna is the mother of the Archangels and was originally plotting to kill everyone on the island, but then Delvin, using the power of 8 Fridge, rewrote this world. So now Lenna is a human who has to take Lance's place to be the hero. Also, that is very brave of me in an event run to not save, because, I mean, it practically never happens, but the game can technically crash. And, you know, I've not saved this entire run. That would be very bad. But now we're fighting the chairman. His boss title is Capitalist Pig. His name is Chairman Mammon or Chairman Gammon, which is very interesting now that he's a big, beefy pig man. Sort of like Ganon from Zelda. He is just like back at the bridge. You could barely see it because I had the combination of speed, tunic, and lighter. He likes to throw money at his problems. So the first attack that he does, when I'm jumping at him and he's punching me across the room, that just skips that entire attack. It's like 15 or 20 seconds long, I want to say. It's called Cash Cow. We call that attack Rich Man's Volley. He really lets his guard down if you get rid of his ball of money. That was... my finger kind of locked up. That's unfortunate. So now we have to do this again. Standing this close is kind of... You run that risk of sometimes your finger just does not want to do the thing that you want it to do. Because you're trying to mash so quickly to get all those hits in real fast. So now we're going to grab the fourth power, the power of wealth. And I'm going to be a little bit slower on the mash so that way I don't accidentally fire the gun early. So I didn't really talk about the old revolver. You get one shot. It one-hits anything it touches, including this boss that is normally 4 phases long and like over 2 minutes. So yeah, he's gone. Bye, Delvin. Now I have to be very careful with which buttons to mash I press, because I use 4 buttons to mash in this game. But I'm going to only press 1 because if you click no on that selection box, then you kind of get the catastrophe ending, which is the worst ending. Yeah, we punched the game card after Tentaluchis and Azurflail, who are, reminder, Lenna's children, apparently, show up to say, no, don't blow the dust out of the cartridge, don't reset everything, because if you reset everything, then Lance is going to survive and we're all going to die. So now we're fighting 8 Fridge, back in the school. We don't have the glasses anymore. This is a very strange fight, and everything you are seeing is completely intentional, and like intended gameplay. This is probably my favorite track of music in the entire game. I think it's really an awesome, just piece of very frantic, sporadic music. So that was the Elder who was dead at the start of the round. He's alive now. We just spared him. And I'm going to attempt to spare this doofus. Lance will just sometimes decide he's going to die. This time he decided, you know what? No, you can use the power of compassion on me. I don't mind. So that's awesome. I always tried to spare the Elder and Lance because that, to me, is the true perfect ending. So I'm very glad that happened. We fought the UI, we turned into Lance, we blew ourselves up, 8 Fridge ran over us, and time is going to be coming up when I pull the pizza out of the fridge. Time.
GG, that's a lot of pizza.
Yeah, that's way too many slices of pizza that got put in that fridge, and that's why it became 8 Fridge, and all the funky, glitchy things were happening all over the whole island, especially the city. So now pizza is, available to everyone according to Prince Daniel, no matter how many limbs they have. So Tentaluchis gets his pizza, so he's very happy about that. The Elder's like, I'm sorry, I misjudged you. Lenna's like, no, I was gonna kill everyone. The prince and Lance are now happily together. Paige is going to help Lenna out with her school. They're happily together. LGBTQ plus rights, everyone. And now the Kingdom of Passion will thrive using all 4 of the powers of fortitude, compassion, wealth, and the one that Lenna had at the very beginning, the power of truth.
I was hoping it was the power of pizza.
No, that was Delvin. He ordered pizza. Actually, that's the pizza delivery guy who got the order wrong and brought him like 200 something slices of pizza instead of 1 slice of pizza. Yeah. I feel like this game never gives me a chance to like get on the rails with commentary. Because
a lot happens.
It throws so many things at you just out of nowhere every single time, and I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite games to play, one of my favorite games to speedrun. It's just such a fantastic game.
Do you have any other speed projects coming up alongside this? You want to talk about appearing in Flame Fatales?
Yeah, I will be running both Lenna's Inception, the same category, and Sonic Origins, Sonic & Knuckles, Amy and Tails New Game Plus on, I believe it's Wednesday, August 21st. I could not be more excited for both of those runs. I'm so happy that I got Lenna's Inception and an Amy Rose category in the Flame Fatales on I'm just really, really happy about that. Gonna give a few quick shout outs. Shout outs to Amber for letting me show off this awesome game on the GDQ channel. Every time I get to run this game in an event, it makes me so happy. Shout outs to everyone on the FPE staff team. You all are so awesome, so supportive, so encouraging, and it really means the world that you guys have been dragging me along for the ride. Because I don't know what I'm doing at times. Shout outs. I
don't either.
Yeah, that's fair. Shout outs to my fellow Amy Rose fanatic, Callie Macken. Shout outs to Bitten Studio, Tom and Jay and Joel, and everyone else who's worked on Cassette Beasts as well, which is the game coming up. That is another super, super awesome game made by Bitten Studio. Lenna's Inception and Cassette Beasts are genuinely 2 of my favorite games of all time. They have been 2 of my favorite games to play casually, and Lenna's Inception just one of my favorite speed games. And honestly, probably the speed game I would say is my strongest game. It just is so good, and I'm so happy that I'm able to show it off for so many people to see. Just again, shout outs to Amber and GDQ.
Of course, it's wild that you say this is like your strongest game because like I've seen you play Super Monkey Ball. I've had you play Super Monkey Ball on Hotfix before, and just it is absolutely wild how good you are at a number of different speed games. And of course, I just want to let everyone know that if you want to follow Snowball, it's twitch.tv/SnowballSMB. So go, it's pinned in the chat. We had a shout out go out. Go follow Snowball. She's great. She's wonderful. And really chill too. And also check out GDQ's next all women in femme speedrunning event Flame Fatales. It returns August 18th through the 25th, and use !FF in Twitch chat to check out the schedule and let us know what you're looking forward to the most. Maybe you're really looking forward to another run of this, or maybe you're looking forward to Snowball's other run, which is it's the boss rush, right? Like you said?
No, it's the Sonic & Knuckles New Game Plus playing as Amy and Tails.
Yes, I'm mixing up Boss Rush. Is it the binary breakers run that you're doing boss rush for.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
tomorrow I'm running Amy All Boss Rush in the Binary Breakers event.
And that's going to be really awesome. Binary Breakers is a cool, non-binary centric and gender non-conforming centric organization of speedrunners. It's a really cool home to have when you're trans non-binary like myself or Snowball. And just shout outs to them as well. And we'll be back in just a few minutes because we're going to be setting up Cassette Beasts, which if you are a Pokemon and creature collection fanatic out there, Cassette Beasts is another Bitten Studio game that really is very reminiscent of at least graphically, the DS Pokemon games. I really liked Gen 4. I want to know what your favorite generation was because I'm a huge fan of Pokemon Platinum. And we will be right back in just a few minutes after this break. So get up, stretch, drink your water, go get a snack, and we'll be right back in a little bit, right after we set up Cassette Beasts, if I can English. Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 26 of Passion Project, the speedrun and gaming variety show that encourages anyone and everyone in the speedrun and competitive gaming communities to showcase their passions in games. My name is Amber Cyprin and I am joined by the wonderful Alice Rujasu. Because we're going to be showcasing another one of Bitten Studios' excellent games. We showed off Lenna's Inception with Snowball SMB just a few minutes ago, and now we're going to be showing their other game that came out in 2023 and recently updated with multiplayer, which is pretty sick. And if you like your Pokemon and creature collection games, this one's going to be for you. So, Alice, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
I was really thrilled when you submitted this because this game looks really neat. I've had it in a marathon before, and it was really cool then, and I know it's really cool now.
Oh yeah, I love this game. Yeah.
So, why don't you go ahead and you can count us in whenever you're ready to get going on the run, and we can take it from there.
All right, sure. So this is going to be a seeded run. So I'm just going to go here and create a custom game. I'm going to plug in the magic seed. And we're going to go into the character selection, and then time will start in just a second here when I get started. There's an in-game timer, but I'll give you a countdown. So we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck and have fun.
Thank you. So yeah, this is Cassette Beasts. This is it's similar to Pokemon. It's with a little bit of kind of, I guess, a Persona-like twist. Because you don't capture the monsters, you actually become the monsters. So see more of how this game goes. So we jump right into our first encounter here. This is with a traffic crab. And yes, that's what's on my shirt right now. So this is a really just trivial, easy fight, just to kind of get you into things. We can just mash through it. Just goes down in one hit. And this mysterious person joining us is Kaylee, who is our first companion. She kind of teaches us the ropes. She's Kaylee. So yeah, you basically always have a party of 2 in this game. So you and your partner each get sort of a Pokemon that you transform into. And there are different partners you can get. Like you can get, I think, 5 different partners, but you can only have one of them in your party at the same time. And there's like a friendship mechanic that won't matter too much in this run, but there's, some reasons you would want one partner over the other. But that's not going to be super important here. But we were going to change partners a couple of times for reasons.
Well,
So basically we're just kind of going through a tutorial area here that just teaches us like the combat system. and like how to record monsters. Here we just kind of have a battle with a spring heel, which is, yeah, it just shows us like the action point system and how you use your abilities, what happens when you take damage, that sort of stuff. So again, we can kind of just blow through this fight here. And you'll see here this, like, this is it's a traditional turn-based RPG, but you have sort of some platforming stuff in the overworld. So like you see we hit this switch, and you know, we have some platforming to do here. We have monsters in the overworld that we can record. We have some NPCs. Some of them are friendly, some of them are hostile. So if you're watching the Lenna's Inception run, it kind of has a similar thing to that, where a lot of stuff is procedurally generated. Not the map in this case, but like enemies and you know, the contents of chests here. This is a tutorial here on the recording system. So we record this monster, and you know, that allows us to transform into it, basically. So you carry around cassette tapes that you use as sort of like your Pokeball analogs. At least, you know, I make all these comparisons to Pokemon. I've never actually played Pokemon. This is the first monster collecting RPG I played. So that was kind of an interesting way to come into this. But, yeah. It's a really fun game, really good soundtrack. I'm glad I got into it. So basically we just kind of finish out this fight here. We are guaranteed to record this Dominoth. It shows like percentage chances and stuff, but that fight's kind of semi-scripted so that you always get it on the first try.
Sorry.
So, and that's kind of nice to have you know, a guaranteed catch at the beginning of the game. So we're gonna go visit a train station here. It's a very normal train station. It's right here. It's gonna kind of pop out of the ground here like train stations normally do. So yeah,
that's very normal.
Yeah, exactly what you'd expect. Nothing unusual about this at all. Definitely, you know, don't worry about the fact that there's nobody here. Like, it's fine. So this is going to be the first boss enemy of the game. Again, it's kind of a tutorial fight, but this game has archangels. Again, it's kind of similar to what Lenna's Inception has, but it's a little bit different. And we're going to have to fight a certain number of these to complete the main objective of the game. There's a lot of stuff you can do in this game, but we're just going to be doing like the main quest. And that's part of the reason that this run is, you know, an hour and not like 40 hours like it is casually. This is very much a game that you can get into like all of the side content and stuff, and you know, obviously collecting monsters, but there's just a lot of side quests and things you can get into this game. This fight's kind of scripted. You'll notice all of the attacks are doing 1 damage. That's by design, but because of the seed we used, we have a special spit attack that will hit twice, and we'll be able to take advantage of that to speed this fight up just a little bit. There's not too much we can do to speed this up, but so we can use spit here, and now that we're fused, we're dealing 5 damage. So we get to deal 5 damage twice. It just saves us a turn. The fusion mechanic is kind of one of the signature things in this game. Like, you can fuse your monster and your partner's monster together to create a, kind of Voltron into a bigger monster. It's like the big mechanic of this game. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. We're going to do it one other time after this, because that's just the kind of run this is. We're zooming through a bunch of dialogue here, and I can just hold down a button. I don't have to mash, which is pretty nice.
Ooh, that's so nice.
Yeah. The devs of this game, as you may have seen with Lenna's Inception, like, they're big fans of speedrunning, and you can tell just like little things like, obviously we have an in-game timer, and I didn't do a thing that I needed to do, but it's not super important. I just need to unequip this, and I'm going to put it here. So I got an olive up, which lets us level up, but I don't actually want to level up. So I'm going to recycle that so that I can buy something else here. We don't have enough money to buy a coffee there, but we will buy a couple of coffees later, because coffee is actually like the most powerful item in this game, and you'll see why at the end. Say hi to Eugene here. Eugene is a cool character who we will be seeing absolutely none of in this run, which is kind of sad. He has a really cool quest line where he fights those zombies that were hassling him. They're not actually zombies, they're actually landlords, which is way worse. But sadly, we don't get any of that quest in this run. It's optional, and we're not doing any optional stuff here.
Hey, you.
Highly recommend.
What's optional? I don't know what optional means.
Highly recommend playing casually if you want to find out about any of this optional stuff. Like this person, she's super cool. We're not going to talk to her at all. It is possible to skip that cutscene that just happened there, but it's not consistent, and I don't go for it. So we need that chest. This is the most important rock in the game here. So when you hold rocks in this game, it lets you jump onto ledges better. I can't really explain why that. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, so the rock despawned. So
what?
The rock despawned because of where Kaylee was standing. Like, it's hard to explain, but like, she was standing where the rock was supposed to be, so it didn't respawn when I exited that house there. It's not a huge thing, but I might have to like do some backup strats, because like, as I said, the rock lets you jump on ledges better. This barrel that I'm holding does help me jump on ledges, but not as well. So like, normally you can...
I assume it has a slightly different hitbox, right?
Yeah, it's... Basically. It's just kind of a weird quirk of the game engine that, again, they like speedrunning, so they... A glitch like that happens, and they're just like, leave it in. Like, they don't fix stuff like that. It's probably... It may very well be intentional. So here we need one of these bulletinos, because they give us an overworld movement ability that makes us go faster, which I shouldn't have to explain, why that's useful in a speed run, because we want to go faster. Use Zephyr here. So I can just use a regular tape, and we increase the chance of recording them by like doing damage to them. So use Zephyr there, which is strong against it. So now it's a 100% chance. We'll record this, and then we don't actually have to like win this fight because we got what we needed out of it.
Oh yeah, the Bulletino dash there.
Yeah. So I need to make sure I don't... That's actually a hostile NPC there. If you walk in front of that NPC, you get an encounter that you can't run from, so that's really bad. So you'll see me kind of walking behind NPCs, or I don't think I can actually make this jump, by the way, because I don't have that rock. I made it. Okay. That's good to know.
Nice.
Like, some jumps work fine with the barrel, but some don't. And I haven't practiced this route like a ton because it's new. I was just discovered, I think, like a month or two ago. This jump, though, I'm having some issues with. Okay, I got a good bounce there. Now here's the most important magnet in this run. And no, I don't know how they work, don't ask me. Magnets can do a lot of stuff in this game. We're only going to use them for, like, pushing a switch here. We used to use a really weird strategy where you would actually, like, stand on top of the magnet and use it to fly around, and it was a lot of fun, but it was also, like, a very unreliable method of transportation, and we found better ways to do things here.
Yeah, I imagine you'd take consistency over a silly flying trick any day.
Yeah. I was hoping I could, like, get that to press the button, but didn't happen. But yeah, you see I, like, went into that train station and then just left it. I was actually talking to that NPC there to unlock fast travel, so you can fast travel between all of the train stations. Like, you can kind of get on the train. And sometimes you just have to, like, you have to, you know, unlock it, obviously. This might actually be hard to run from. Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. I can fast travel back to the town, and I can use a different way of getting there. So I'm going to take the slow way to get where I'm going. I was going to, like, take kind of the western route to get to this place, but I'm going to go this way instead.
It's also really interesting that if your flee chance is low and you can't flee normally, it will give the option to, like, take a penalty of losing items to be able to go back to the last train station.
Yeah.
It's like really just forgiving to the player in that regard, rather than forcing you to play out the battle and lose.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, good quality of life decisions that were made in this game. Like, you know, the game, like, it doesn't waste your time or anything. Okay. I need a box to do this. I haven't done this particular strat in a minute. We used to go this way, and so I'm using this as kind of a backup here. Quite work out for me. There we go.
This looks finicky.
Okay.
Nice.
So let's see. I need to do a little menuing here, and this is going to set up just the next fight. And we're just going to put this quick smack here. That'll be useful later. And use this. So this is the other time that we're going to use fusion here. So this fight used to be really scary, and now it's not. We figured out this strategy of using fusion instead of fighting it the way we fight everything else. So you fuse and you just spam Sonic Boom here. It's not a very complicated strategy, but we used to not fuse in this battle, and this gelatin actually got buffed in one of the updates, so it started hitting us harder, and we thought it was going to be like a real problem in the run, but people kind of came up with strategies like this to get through it without too much trouble. So the reason we did that fight was to get some Skelly Jelly. And we need Skelly Jelly to rub on this pumpkin here, so we can record the pumpkin. Don't ask me why you need to rub Skelly Jelly on it. I don't understand. I just play this game, okay? So this tree bark tape that we got earlier is super important for this fight because it increases our chance of recording this, and sometimes this fight goes really well and you have no problems recording. Like this, we got a good formation here. Sometimes you get a jumpkin and like a different monster that is like puts up walls and stuff and makes it really difficult. But it wasn't difficult that time. That was pretty much perfect. And now we can just go back and get Felix like normal. So we're basically back on track now.
Nice. Good backup then.
So you saw Felix earlier. Felix is the other partner that we're going to use in this run. And the reason we use Felix, aside from Felix, you know, being a cool artist dude, he has a monster called Brushroom, which is super broken. So it has, let's just put custom starter and glass camouflage here, and the paint swipe ability that it has is going to allow us to use one of the most powerful status effects. It's called Resonance, and it effectively, like, once we get it on a boss, it lets us just take out the boss in one hit. Basically, is the long and short of it. So we have some bosses coming up that would otherwise be, you know, a pretty good challenge. So
wait.
Since we recorded that Jumpkin, it gives us this Vine Ball ability, which you can see right there why we get the Vine Ball ability. This is an entire dungeon that we used to have to go through. It used to take like 5 minutes. Now we just do that and just clip out of bounds, and here we are. So we're at the boss. This is the creepiest boss in the game, in my opinion, by the way. Papatox, Master of Puppets. I missed a menu. Is there anything I can do here, or do I just have to like run and start this over? I think I'm just gonna run and start this over, because that won't like take too much time.
Yeah, with RPG speedruns of any kind missing like important menus or anything like that can be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, fortunately, like it would be devastating if I was like going for PB here, but it's pretty easy to recover from this for like a marathon or a showcase. Here's where it's supposed to go. The recent update for this changed some of the menuing that we had to do. Actually, it was the route change, I should say, rather than the actual game update. But I have to do some different menuing here, so I'm not as fast with the menuing as I was with the old route, but it's fine.
Yeah, how new is this route?
I think it's about a month old, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so still pretty recent, especially like with RPG speedrun standards.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, this particular category has been like the most actively run category of the game, and like the most actively developed route. A bunch of people have contributed to it. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. Why did that happen? That's a problem.
We have a mystery on our hands here.
So, I'm guessing something threw off RNG here?
I wonder if
I know what it
the
did.
fight changes that? Oh, okay.
I read my notes wrong.
While you get things readjusted, I just want to remind everyone that GDQ is going to PAX West. The schedule is going to be coming out July 14th, which is just a couple of days away. And if you want to check out more information about the PAX, did I say PAX East? I meant PAX West. The schedule is going to be released July 14th, and if you use the !PAX command in Twitch chat, you'll get more information on the PAX West appearance. At least I didn't say PAX West. Sorry, I'm an East Coaster. I used to go to PAX East all the time, so I'm very coded to say PAX East.
So it's just going to take me a second to actually...
You're good.
Yeah.
Take your time, and I've seen a lot of support in the chat today. Oh, I did say PAX West, thank goodness. I basically just gaslit myself into thinking I said get PAX East because that would be on brand for me, but just a reminder to folks who are supporting in chat that your subs, your Prime Gaming subs, your gift subs, and all of your bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel do help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. And if you enjoy watching speedruns, consider subscribing to the channel. Whether you're on YouTube or you're here on Twitch, subscribing is definitely appreciated. And thank you, chat, for confirming that I was not losing my marbles and said PAX West.
Yeah. So with the resonance trick that I'm trying to do here, as you've kind of seen, like every ability that you set has to be like in the exact correct order. And okay, now it's working. So that revenge strike is a little annoying, but we wanted that paint swipe to go off at the beginning to apply the glass coating to this boss because it needs to be glass to generate resonance. So we spit, and because it hits twice, it applies 2 stacks, and the 3rd stack will just take it out. You'll see here, it's just going to be instantly one shot. So,
nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
I was a little bit worried there that, like, by resting or something, I might accidentally throw off the RNG, and then I'd like really have to get into backup strats. But this all is back on track now, and should be a little easier here from now. So here I'm going to do the menuing that I accidentally did too early. And I want to put random starter here. So custom starter basically applies the next ability in the list, and random starter will do just like any ability on the list randomly. And we know which ability it'll be because of the the seed that I plugged in at the beginning of the run. So I have to do a cutscene skip here, by the way. I failed the cutscene skip, but that's okay because I can try again. So I had to set the frame rate down to 30 FPS to do this. But basically what we do here is we skip a cutscene by overriding it with a different cutscene. I was too early there, but I still have to do it here. So I use this Morgante's song, which I can access from the menu. And Morgante's song is what you use to normally like kind of figure out the sort of the main puzzle of the game. I need to do this over. We don't need to solve the puzzle here because we know exactly where the thing's going to be. But by activating that cutscene there, it skipped the one that would have taken us like into this dungeon. So we skipped another dungeon. We get to do a lot of that in this run.
Wait.
So this is Alice. She spells her name the wrong way. She spells it A-L-I-C-E. It's an Alice in Wonderland bit. And again, this is going to be kind of the same routine we did for Papa Talks, where we just use spit a couple of times, and then we'll use quick smack, and that'll take Alice out pretty quick. That ability, Eat Me, makes her bigger and I guess raises stats or something. If things went another turn, it would be a problem because she'd use like a shrinking ability that increases evasion, so we'd have a chance of the attack not hitting. But yeah, another fight that we get to make super quick with that trick. So once again, I get to do some menuing here.
My favorite.
Yeah.
I've been actually enjoying how the resonance stacks is just like, like, goodbye, boss.
Yeah. It's so silly.
To the point where it's like, yeah, that move that the boss just used makes them bigger and maybe raises their stats, but who cares? They're just gonna get resonance overloaded.
Yeah. There's a lot of, interesting things that these bosses can do that we just don't care about. It's kind of funny how the regular enemies are way scarier in this than the bosses are, because the bosses we can trivialize, and we know what the exact RNG is going to be for them. But if I accidentally get an overworld encounter, I usually have to run from it because I just don't know how that fight's going to go. So again, we see...
I also love how you get overworld abilities from different monsters you can record.
Yeah, we're not even seeing half of them here. like there's the magnetism ability that I talked about. There's swimming. There's flying. And this vine ball ability we found is just good enough by itself to carry the run. But there's tons of cool abilities that you can use, and just like if you actually do the dungeons, it's some cool platforming and stuff. So we can get up this mountain really quick. So this fight here is actually going to be even simpler than the other ones were, because the spit attack at the beginning is going to happen automatically. So this is Babolith. It's kind of like a Tower of Babel deal. It tells bad jokes. Sadly, we don't get to see any of the bad jokes here. But just like, you know, all of the like groan-worthy puns you can imagine.
I love the way this boss looks.
Yeah, it's great. So I know I've been saying a lot of stuff about this run. Do you have any like questions about it, or anybody asking anything?
Well, that's a good question. I haven't seen anything in chat yet, because it does look like we've had a couple of the runners in the chat. We have someone who says, "I love this game so much, and this is so cool that you're speedrunning." And how accessible would you say this game's speedrun is?
I would say it's pretty accessible. Like, there are a lot of like challenging tricks that I had to, you know, kind of work at, and some of them you don't have to do anymore. It's actually probably more accessible now than it was. But you know, the community for this run is awesome and is active. You can easily find us in the official Bitten Studio Discord. You could also ask on like the speedrun.com page. If you have any questions, you could ask me or any of the other runners. People really helped me out when I was first learning this. I have to do another cutscene skip here, but yeah, really, just shout out to all the runners of this game. Super cool community. This is one that tends to take a few tries sometimes. It's just, you have to kind of sort of hit the right pixel. It's like you do a dash and then you menu, and then you like do the cutscene skip while you're mid dash, and then when you come out of the menu, you finish the dash. So like you see there, it worked.
I was just looking at the leaderboards and saw the second place for the category that you're running right now is oh my god, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, and I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh with my partner recently because he never watched it and I grew up on it. So just seeing Garfield the Lightning instead of Guilford the Lightning, it's just like, all right, this is about as groan-inducing as I can imagine.
Okay, I didn't even get that reference. Like, yeah, Garfield's a really good runner of this game who's contributed a lot to it. But yeah, like I said, I didn't play Pokemon, I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! I just actually got into this because I saw somebody streaming it casually. And I just saw like, I saw like a character that, you know, I saw a bunch of like side quest stuff that you won't see in this run, but I just saw it and I was like, I have to play this game and I might speedrun it. You know, it just looked super cool to me and music sounded super good. Yeah,
like when you picked up this game, it was like kind of almost like a culture shock because I knew you for running like really, really old like RPGs. Was it RPGs that you were running? Like, I can't quite remember.
Yeah, the first speedrun that I really did seriously was Dungeons & Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun for Sega Genesis, which that's kind of a deep cut, but, you know, it was a game that I grew up with. And, yeah, I kind of leaned toward a lot of, like, retro stuff early on with my speedruns. And it's only been recently that I've been like, you know, there are all these cool new games. Maybe I should, like, you know, especially indie games, that, you know, I could be speedrunning these and getting to show off cool games like this. And, you know, I like the, you know, I still like retro stuff and I still speedrun a lot of retro stuff, but
like I see that I'm looking at your SRC page, sorry for being nosy, like Super Hang On for Genesis, and when I met you through doing events, you were running, I think, like Pac-Lan and Dungeons of Dreadmore at the time.
Yeah. Pac-Land was the first game that I ever got like a competitive world record in, so that was really cool. And that's a fun game. It's, you know, again, kind of a deep cut. It's like the TurboGrafx 16 version. But, and Dungeons of Dreadmore is another one that, you know, it's a cool indie game that a lot of people don't know about, or a lot of people do know about it, and they're like, oh, hey, I remember that game. You can speedrun this? What? I need to get back into Dreadmore soon, actually, because somebody just, like, came along and, like, casually blew away one of my records in that game and just showed off some, like, new tech that looked really exciting, so I have to take a look.
Oh my goodness, is it the Going Rogue category?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm seeing like your time of 53 minutes and 32 seconds, and then the first place time now is 27 minutes?
Yeah.
That is wild. And yeah, like someone in chat said, you can speedrun just about anything. Like if you can find a designated beginning and end point, even if it's not a, hey, credits are rolling point, like there are categories that are just like collect all these items, or, you know, talk to all these NPCs, or get this specific costume for this character. Like if you can easily make a speedrun out of anything. And yes, there are also Speed Excel competitions. Microsoft Excel has its own competition thing.
Yeah. More exciting menuing here. But yeah, I've actually done speed runs of like games that I found on like old like Windows 3.1 shareware CDs like that I used to play, and I was just like, you know, this game's cool, I'm just gonna speedrun it.
Yeah, like I've seen like the Make a Burrito speedrun as well. Like, oh my god. There's a lot of things that you can genuinely speedrun or turn into some form of competition, which I guess if there's anyone out there who speedruns Microsoft Excel like spreadsheet manipulation stuff, and you want to have a small competition on Passion Project, hit me up. That'd be pretty cool to show off.
I would love to see that.
Like, well, just reach out. If you want to do an Excel competition, reach out. We'll we'll figure out the details, and we'll have a tournament series of Microsoft Excel on Passion Project. I'm only like 5% joking, 95% serious.
Alright, so a bunch of like cutscenes happened and some exposition that's Aw. See, this is why we hate landlords. So I'm just gonna have to run from this fight probably and just do it over again. That's fine. A little bit of a time loss, but that's okay. One thing that's really nice about this run, like I said, you can, like, not only just the fact that you can run from enemies and warp back to Harbor Town, but you can pretty easily get back to where you were.
Yeah, this seems like a overall forgiving run to start picking up.
Yeah.
Because of the quality of life in it.
Yeah. Definitely. I just did the same thing again. I am good at speedrunning.
What?
Well, just do the same thing again, and I will definitely not make that mistake a third time, okay?
Third time's the charm for getting it right.
That's right. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Speedrun to Crash Excel played on the old patch. Gotta start up my Windows 95 computer. Windows 95 is a deep cut right now.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
I remember just all the school computers when I was a kid. I didn't grow up with a computer at home, so like my earliest computer exposure was at schools, and just Windows 95 and 98 where all the machines ran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a computer, but it was like antiquated for a while, so I had like this like old DOS computer when all my friends had Windows 95. And you wonder why I'm into like a lot of retro stuff and retro inspired stuff. Like,
yeah, it's like always being a generation behind on consoles. That's usually me.
Yeah.
I think the newest thing I own is the Switch, and of course my PC. But like the newest console I own is Switch. I did not pick up a PS5 or a Xbox Series.
Oh gosh,
console.
The newest console I own might be a Nintendo Wii.
That's not as bad as I thought, but it's still like pretty old.
Yeah. The oldest console I own is actually Atari Super Pong.
Ooh.
And it's like in working condition.
What?
It takes a bunch of D batteries, but yeah, I plugged it into my CRT, and I don't know whose it was. It was like somebody in my family had it, but I plugged it into my CRT, and sure as heck, it's Pong.
That is actually really cool. Like, I think the oldest thing I own is probably the NES, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was a kid, I used to have access to an Atari. I don't know what model, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember my parents had, like, the Smurfs game for it.
Oh, okay.
I never actually played it, because, like, they never hooked it up. But, because I grew up on NES and Sega Genesis. Because, like, for folks wondering at home, I'm 31. And my very first video game was Sonic 2 on the Genesis. When I was like 2 years old, where I played as Tails because Tails couldn't die.
Yeah, I was one of the few like American kids who grew up with a Sega Master System instead of an NES.
Ooh.
Those of you who had the NES, you got the better deal. There were better games on that system. Like, the Master System is cool, but...
I went back into the Master System's library a little bit at one point because I was, like, really fascinated by it. And, of course, there's a bunch of 8-bit Sonics on it. And aside from mostly like Phantasy Star and the 8-bit Sonics, the NES had the better library overall. Although I do love the way the Master System looks and sounds.
Yeah. All right, so we're at the final boss here. And
it's like, surprise, final boss.
So the first phase of this is going to go like a lot of the other bosses have gone, but there's a little bit of a twist to this one. So we're going to use Quick Smack, and normally that just like takes things out. But this is only going to take out half of the enemy. Like, it gets a kind of instant recovery there. And it's going to go into its final phase here. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to break our cassette player. So that's a problem. We're suddenly just regular human beings now.
Ruh-roh.
But so you remember Morgante from the beginning of the game? She's going to help us now.
Wake up.
And she's going to give us a rousing speech like, you don't need cassettes, you know, the true power is within you. So we get this really epic final boss with a really epic final boss music. And we're going to do the most powerful thing in the game. We're going to drink coffee.
Oh, so these are the coffees that you were like, yeah, we're going to buy some coffees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're just going to drink a couple of iced lattes here. And that's going to let us use an ability here called Coda Morgana, which you would have seen at the beginning of the game if we hadn't skipped it. And I didn't see exactly how much damage that was, but it was enough.
That looked like over 700,000, at least.
Yeah, and this is a game where, like, enemies usually have, like, 200 HP or something. Like, so, yeah, that was some overkill right there.
And now it's like, yeah, I always have a spare on me. It's like, why didn't you say that in the first place?
Yeah, that would have been real helpful a minute ago. That's actually, like, useful though for, like, basically the game now says, okay, you beat the main story. If you want to do, like, you know, the million side quests that you haven't done, you can do them now. But we're not going to do that now. We're just going to time. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's.
I thought that was intentional. It's like, we're just gonna time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the run. That's Cassette Beasts. Any percent. Like I said, that's just the main quest. You could do runs of like so many other categories. There's so much you can do. This game actually has a built-in randomizer.
Ooh.
Yeah, like you can randomize like monster types, attack types. Yeah, it's a really cool game, and you should go check it out.
Yeah, and also, if you were curious, you came in just under 2 seconds underestimate. Like, because I knew that there were, like, you know, a few mistakes, some backups, some missed menus, some forgotten menus, and, like, just still coming in underestimate means, like, the route is very good.
Yeah.
Like, even to account for all of that. And you're also very good at giving estimates, apparently.
Right on time. Planned it out that way.
But, yeah, like you said, if you enjoyed, like, both of these games, by the way, chat, if you liked Cassette Beasts and then you liked Lenna's Inception, you could check them both out. I know that Lenna's Inception is on itch. I don't know if Cassette Beasts is, but they're both on Steam as well. Lenna's Inception is usually $9.99 and Cassette Beasts is $19.99. When they do go on sale, they go on sale for like $5 and $12 respectively. We just had the summer sale, so I don't know when they'll go back on sale, but they're really cool. And I'm really glad you were able to show off Cassette Beasts. This is such a cool game, and I really need to check it out myself finally. It's on my wish list. It's been on my wish list for ages now.
Yeah, thanks so much for letting me show it off here. It was a lot of fun, and I'm always kind of advocating for this game. Want to see more people just check it out. Maybe speedrun it, or maybe you find other ways to enjoy it. But enjoy it a lot.
Do you have any shout outs you want to make or anything like that?
Yeah.
As we wrap up for the evening?
Yeah. So again, shout outs to the Cassette Beasts speedrunning community. You can find us on the official Bitten Studio Discord. Shout outs to my speedrunning team, the Binary Breakers. They have an event tomorrow, so be sure to check that out. I think that's about it. You can find me at Alice Rajasu on Twitch, Rajasu55 on YouTube, other places like co-host Blue Sky. You can find me as Rajasu. But yeah, I stream every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely go check them out over on their Twitch channel or their YouTube, or even take a look at their SRC page if you want to check out things like Pac-Land. I enjoyed the whole dang game speedrun you've done for an event as well. But definitely check out these games, and we're gonna have some more inspired indie games in a couple of weeks. That's next show is going to be on July 26th, starting around 10 p.m. Eastern as usual. A couple of confirmed games for that are going to be Demon Turf and the Fancy Pants Adventures, which both take inspiration from some Sonic games. Demon Turf mostly reaching into the deep cut that is Sonic Roboblast 2. So if you enjoyed the Sonic Roboblast 2 run from SGDQ by Argic, you can definitely check out Demon Turf being run here on Passion Project next Friday. Or not next Friday, the Friday after next. I can days of the week on July 26th. But thank you again, Alice, for being here, and to Snowball, if you're lurking, thank you for being here as well. And everyone in chat, thank you for being here tonight. And please look after yourselves and your loved ones. Drink some water, stretch your legs, eat a snack, take your medicine or your vitamins if you need to. I need to, actually. And remember that you are valid and deserve all the best. Stay tuned for the continuation of our SGDQ 2024 replay, and tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for a Metroid speedrun special. And have a great rest of your night. Bye.